welcome back to my channel Capsule. I'll land this here for another Alpha Chronicle video. It's been a while since I last uploaded some content, but I will try to be more regular in bringing new content to the channel, so please stay tuned, and if you want to be notified about new video that I will be creating, just hit the subscribe button and you will get an instant notification if you ding on the notification bell as well. So with more and more players reaching tech level 10, I wanted to check basically if alpha clones or free-to-play players, because that's basically what's behind it, could realistically reach tech level 10 without resorting to your credit card or a significant investment in terms of time that you would put into the game, knowing that anyway e-vehicles is not really a casual friendly game in any means. So we need to debate exactly what is a reasonable amount of time that you want to spend into the game. So let's look a bit and check on the numbers. What you see now on the screen is a very small table with the two first columns summarizing per tech level the amount of skill point that you need to actually reach that level. And so you can see then the five next column being the amount of time you need per, I would say, clone level to reach that amount of skill points. So if we take the first column, which is the alpha clone, so the free to play, you see that you have a 30 skill point per minute in terms of speed for learning, and basically that means that reaching tech level 7, which is the level cap for alpha clones, will take you about 3 months, a bit over 3 months, so 130 days in total. You should basically invest and use it to invest in preparing for the next part of the journey. So if you want to push beyond tech level 7, you will need to prepare. So good investment would be a cognitive chip, if you can afford the 150 million ISK that is currently selling for, and that would basically bring you 5 more skill point per minute, so letting you on par with the basic Omega account in terms of how fast you learn stuff, and that will speed up over time. So it's a good investment. It's a permanent modification to your clone, so it's a very good one. And the second investment that you should make is certainly looking at a good cruisers, and you can find a number of videos on my channel about the different types of cruiser that you can get as an alpha clone, and that will perform well for you. It can be a Vexor, it can be a Moa, it can be a Moller, Stabber, whatever. You will find it on my channel with I would say a fairly good build that is still usable by today's standards, and will provide you with a good gaming experience for that. And so if you want to learn more about those, go check the channel and pick up the video and the ship that is of interest to you. Now, if we continue a bit further, what you will see is that after that 3 months period, getting to tech level 8, you will need to get up to an Omega subscription. Okay, there is no way you can move around. The game is capped for alpha clones, so you will need to move, upgrade your account, upgrade your clone, and pay for it. It can be by Plex, so meaning that you buy the Plex from real money, or you buy Plex by ISK, and this is what we will be focusing about. Moving from tech level 7 to tech level 8, so you will be on a basic Omega account for that, so meaning that this will be the orange boxed column that we will be focusing on, with a 35 or 40 if you have the cognitive chip skill point per minute. And you will see that reaching tech level 8 will require about 5 months further, so 8 months in total from starting the game, and 5 months more after reaching tech level 7, you will reach tech level 8. Moving to tech level 9 is another 8 months on top of the tech level 8, so it means 16 months in total of game time to reach tech level 9. And if you want to go to tech level 10, that will be another year. So you will be looking at 2.5 to 3 years of game time to actually reach tech level 10 if you want to push it as a free-to-play players in the game. Now, I know you will have certainly understood that you will need to sustain your Omega subscription over a fairly extended period of time. We're looking at more than 2 years until you reach tech level 10, and you will need to invest the 170 plex per month to get your Omega account going. And the question is, how realistic is this? Okay, and all of the discussion is not counting freebies that you can get into the game. So meaning when you will get your daily login, you will get some free skill points. If you do the Conquer Pass on a free basis as well, you will get some free skill points, and other events that can pop up around the year will provide you some skill points, which will basically speed up or reduce the amount of time that you need to reach to the next tech level and ultimately to a tech level 10. But as this is sort of difficult to predict, I just went to a basic approach, looking at, if you don't get any freebies, what would be the worst case scenario that you would be facing in terms of game progression. So let's look at the second table that I bought on the screen, and that table is basically looking at what money, what ISK you can get from running encounters, because I took the option, and again this is an assumption that I made for the case study here, that the main source of revenue for the clone would be running the high-sec encounters. Those are, I think, the most profitable way, the most secure way of getting ISK into the game. But of course, if you are in a co-op in null and you can do special anomalies, or if you doing the encounters, you get and complete a storyline arc and you want to sell the mission rather than do it, then you will generate an extra cash amount, and that will, again, as for the free skill points, that will speed up simply the amount of money that you will need to gather through encounters running, or farming in a way, into the game. So when you will be at tech level 7, you will have access to tech level 6 and tech level 7 encounters, which are the two first column that you have. So looking at the rewards, tech level 6 is 400 to 450 million, and for the exercise I took the 450, because if you can, those are the ones that you should concentrate of course. Bounty is about 1,250,000, and it took me 10 minutes to complete the tier 6 encounters, and that was on my Brawler MOA, which has a DPS of around 450, so that you can get a comparison value if needed. And it means that you can basically run 6 of those encounters if they are very well placed in the same system. You don't waste time in travel in between system, meaning that the cap is around 10 million that you could make per hour of encounter farming. If you need the 170 plex, I assumed a sell price of about 2 million per plex. It's a bit above current market, but I think this is where the market is heading, so I took a bit of an overhead there. It means that you need to accumulate about 340 million ISK to buy the plex, and so that will be like 33-34 hours of gameplay, so more or less an hour per day. okay, a bit more than an hour per day of investment just to maintain your Omega accounts. And of course, that don't take into account any value from the loot that you could be making if you get the hull, the modules, and so on. So 1 hour, 1 hour and a half per day just to sustain your Omega account for a tier 6 encounter. Tier 7 is a bit better in terms of payout, both in rewards and bounty, but because you have battle cruisers that are now part of the game, it takes a bit more time to complete with the a cruiser layout that I have with the MOA, and so I'm around 20 minutes to complete the encounters, meaning again that basically a tier 6 and a tier 7 encounters, they are on par. I'm generating about 10 million ISK per hour, and so you get the same amount of time needed for your Omega. So it can be a good distraction if you want to run a low sec mission. It could be good. You will get Mark 7 modules as well, so it can be helpful if you want to update another ship. Anyway, you won't get any significant differences in between the two encounters based on the numbers that I generated. So looking at 5 months to get to tech level 8 means that for 5 months you will be playing 1 hour, 1 hour and a half per day just to sustain your Omega subscription. Doesn't mean that you need to play every day. You can do more, you can do less. You can skip a month and get something like one every other month. You take an Omega subscription. Can be a valid strategy as well. We'll just extend the time to reach tech level 8 and then subsequently tech level 9 and 10, but that could be something that you could consider as well if you don't want to invest more than an hour farming the anomalies. Once you reach tech level 8, you will move to the next level. I think it's the expert one. So you will get access to Tech 8 and Tech 9 encounters. Tech 8 will be the one in high sec and Tech 9 will be the one in low sec. And as you can see from the numbers, you are generating a bit more cash with those. And just to be fair, those numbers were generated using the battle cruisers, the Myrmidon, and you can find the fitting and a combat demonstration in the channel as well. It's a ship that has at the time around 750 DPS, something like that, and you get a significant improvement in running the encounters. So as you can see, you're basically moving from 10 million ISK an hour to 14-15 million ISK an hour. Again, this is the max cap if all of the missions are lined up in the same system and you don't lose time traveling. Tier 9 encounters are a bit more juicy because then you get the battleships, which provide a much higher bounty. And as you can see there, if you're running exclusively tier 9 encounters, which is not something that you could easily foresee, because you get usually 1, maybe 2 per refresh, you could end up nearly at 20 million ISK per hour. So meaning that whenever you get a tier 9 mission, you should certainly focus on, not only because you will get Mark 9 gear, but also because the payout ratio is better in a way. And so once you reach tier 8, 9, then you see that the amount of hours that you need to invest to maintain your Omega is significantly reduced. So you're moving at 2/3 what you had on the tech level 7. So meaning you need to invest in between, I would say, around 20 hours or so in terms of a game time, which is much more reasonable. We're looking at less than an hour per day in terms of farming. And again, this is not counting any extra money that you could make from other source of revenue, planetaries, mission selling, or loot from the ship. So that's something which is a bit more manageable. Just to give you an idea, at tech level 10, with a fairly optimized battleship, I'm about to make now around 40 million ISK per hour, and I've seen people claiming they can top up 70 million per hours with faction battleship in terms of hunting encounters in high sec, so fairly safe as well. High sec, low sec mission running 70 million as a sort of an end goal. Personally, I was not able to reach that yet. I'm sitting at 35-40 in terms of ISK per hour, so 40 million, 35 million per hour, which is quite good, and which heavily reduce the burden that you need to pay for maintaining your Omega subscription. So you're looking at I would say less than 10 hours of gameplay to actually reach that. So you should be around half what it takes for a tier 9 encounter, so 8 hours. If you of course have the luxury of a faction battleship, maybe you can reduce that even further, but that's not the point. So as you can see, the clear difficulty or the gap will be moving from Tech 7 to Tech 8. This is where the most significant investment will have to be made in terms of playing more regularly and farming more regularly encounters in the game. Once you reach Tech level 8, that will ease up. Once you reach Tech level 10, that will be even further reduced. Now, if you need to prepare as well very carefully for this transition. So as you can see on the screen, this is my MOA. So that's the cruiser I would recommend. That's for me the best for an alpha clone that you could get as a brawler style cruiser. You can see here TPS a bit above 450. I did invest in the nano core so that it could boost a bit the DPS. It's nearly cap stable, 43 minutes with both Nosferatus active, so it's fairly easy, it's fairly AFK work to actually run the encounters. You can even auto-orbit. It will be a very sustainable and very strong ship. What you need to plan carefully, and I will illustrate that with the ship 3, so we'll go first on the Caldari one. So you're looking at your MOA. Your MOA is a railgun. So you will have invested skills into cruisers. So cruiser defense, cruiser piloting, cruiser engineering, and so on, and the medium railguns. What you want to do when you move up, because that will also help you sustain and maintain your income flux, so the money you make, is to move to battle cruiser. And the natural move from the MOA would be either the Ferox, which would be more of a long range battleship, or, and that's the one I would personally pick, moving to the Brutix, which is the Galante one. You will see that both have very similar traits. Brutix has an advantage because it can get one more high slot compared to the Ferox, but both are very capable ships. You see that they get the same rule bonuses. Brutix will get a slightly lower medium railgun damage, but as it has one more high slot, basically it will dish out much more DPS than the Ferox, and it will get bonuses on the tracking speed compared to the Ferox, which will get on the range. So you would get subnosed on the Brutix and a broader build, and the Ferox would be more of a range version of the ship. And because the Brutix is really well suited for holo roles, you get then the armor repair bonuses, which will help you sustain being in close range with all of the ship. But that's the logical steps that you need to foresee. So you're moving from the MOA, medium cruisers and medium railguns, you're moving to a battle cruiser where you can keep working on your medium railgun skills and then learn the battle cruiser skills, piloting, engineering and defense. And once you have that mastered, then you can move to the assault battle cruiser, which basically will push you naturally to learn the large railgun or the large weapon of the same type. So moving from Ferox or Brutix, you can get to the Talos, which is, I would say, more the close range version, or the Naga, which is the Kaldari version, more long range. And that will ready you, once you reach Tier 9, to move to battleships. And you would have then the large weapon train, and then you can focus again on training more of the battleship skill, piloting, engineering and defense. And so that's a natural progression that you really need to focus in. And that's, for me, one of the key message from this video, is that you should be focusing and maintaining a focus on what is the ship path that I want to take, what are the weapons that I want to learn. You can do exactly the same, being railguns, being lasers, being cannons, or being missiles. You will get exactly the same pathways of moving from cruisers to battle cruisers, maintaining the same medium weapon set, then moving to assault battle cruisers where you get the large weapon set, and then moving to battleship where you get the battleship skills in a way. And you can do that with all weapons. I would say that probably the most skill intensive would be drones, because you need not only to invest in drones but also into a secondary weapon set, being either cannons, missiles, or whatever else you want to add for the high slot in your ship. So that might be a bit more in terms of skill point investment, but more than worth it. Drones are very flexible ships, and that's one of my favorite playstyle in the game. So now to conclude, you have seen that yes, T10 is something that free-to-play players can actually achieve. Will require some form of commitment to the game, and it's a long-term objective. We're looking at a couple of years in the future for free-to-play players to actually reach the end game and the piloting. You will technically not necessarily be alpha clone, but you will be Omega Basics with a subscription paid by actually playing the game, which is nice. So you don't need to invest real money into the game. You can sustain your playstyle in the game for free, and that is the conclusion. So basically, yes, you can go for it, and just need to make sure that you invest carefully and you plan carefully ahead what will be your weapon choice, and then looking at the ships that will go according to that. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you find the content useful, feel free to hit the like button. It helps with the algorithm sorting out the video for other players and pushing the content forward. And if you want to get notified about new and upcoming videos that I will be pushing, please go ahead, subscribe and hit the notification bell. In the meantime, fly safe, enjoy the game, and see you in the next video.